Our world is young. The UN estimates that of the 8.2 billion people living on the planet right now, 1.8 are below the age of 18. 40% of those live in Africa. It is estimated that by the turn of this century, Africa will be the most populous continent. And yet, we have the worst education systems. Karema has demonstrated to us the impact of issues like low capitation and staffing gaps. That is one big challenge. The biggest challenge that we have, that is even greater than those challenges, is how is our education preparing our children for the future when it is still based on 20th century realities? Between 2000 and 2025, and between 2000 and 1925, we have witnessed more technological changes. The fourth industrial revolution is at our doorstep. The world is getting closer. Our world is growing in greater and greater chaos. We need change makers. We need problem solvers. We need innovators who can help humanity go back to a place where this world functions for all of us. Are our schools doing that? On average, we spend over 15 years in school. During those 15 years, we are away from our parents, we are away from our families. We sit in these halls for most of our year, where information is pumped into our heads. After this information is pumped into our heads, we are then thrown into society and then expected to suddenly thrive. Is it then an accident that everywhere in the world we are witnessing a decline in development? The reason is simple. We have built an education system that does not teach the total being. From the time children are young, we are pigeonholing them into, we want you to be a doctor, we want you to be a scientist. Don't read literature if you want to be a doctor. Don't read science if you want to be a lawyer. And yet that is not the way the world works. Every day, in every given situation, we are required to use both sides of our brain. The logical thinking side, which helps us do science. The creative side, which helps us bring new ideas into the world. But our education is killing our children's creative spirit. So at Sudbury School, being concerned about that, this is what we chose to do. The first thing we did was we acknowledged that schools must function in boards. And we needed to find a board that had learning objectives that matched our aspirations. And for that, we chose the IJCSE board because it's the most competitive board in the world. IJCSE board is an international system, and we are delivering this to rural children in a village called Ndali in Kabarole, Western Uganda. Why we chose to do and use an international system was we recognize that the world in which we are going in is not, our children are not going to be competing against, rural children won't be competing against people in the cities. They are competing with children everywhere else in the world. Asia has left us. Europe, America is already up there in the sky. South America is catching up. It is only Africa that is still in these doldrums. How shall we compete in the world? So how we do this is we do a mixed model. We've got an academic side where we teach the traditional subjects, but we teach them in a different way. We've got a vocational side where we teach practical skills. We've got culture or art side where we develop their creative spirit through dance, writing, theater, and whatnot. And then we have another ingredient that isn't being factored in our education: yoga. We have a mental health epidemic in the world. A mental health epidemic in the world that has been partly caused by the lopsided way that we have been taught. Many of us have not been allowed to apply our creative spirit. And any time we are functioning in any way where we are not complete, there's going to be some sort of imbalance. So how do we do this? We encourage what we call integrated learning. And we do this through a methodology called project-based learning. Project-based learning prepares students for the real world by breaking the traditional classroom model and showing them how what they are learning applies in the real world. I'll give you some few examples. Children in the equivalent of P1, learning science, learning about light, would traditionally be, the teacher would come with the textbook, give them a lot of information, talk, lecture, give them some exercises, sit an exam, and then move on. For us, that is where the learning begins. The children take it from there and then say, how do we apply these concepts of light in the real world? They build a traffic model, a model of traffic lights. They do a light puppet show where they are going to set up lights on a stage and tell a story about light, in which we are going to see the impact of shadow and how that applies in storytelling. In the process, they are picking up many skills. They are working with a professional electrician to build their circuit boards. They are working with the carpenters in the school to build the board on which their wires are going to go. They are picking up social skills in creating the story of light. Usually our teachers merely play a facilitative role. We require the children to be the ones who front the ideas. By the time this child has completed this entire thing, they have developed social skills, they've applied their creative mind, they have developed their cognitive skills because they are applying what they are learning, but most importantly, they are developing mastery. And when you gain mastery at a young age, it does something miraculous for you. It gives you confidence. And that confidence is what children need to go out in the world and thrive. As they grow older, we add different layers of complexity. We require them to connect what they're doing in school to the problems that exist in their communities. And so you find one class sits down and says, okay, in our community, there's this corner that is dark. I think we want to, let's build a street light there. Okay, we have no electricity. We have to have a solar lamp. What does this cost? In all of this, lots of questions are being asked. We are building their curiosity. We don't stop there. We ask them to test their ideas and study them. And even if we don't have the resources to maybe build solar panels, what is required to build a solar panel? And so the children go out and make all of these investigations, figuring out how do these principles that I'm learning in physics, how these principles that I'm learning in chemistry apply in this thing that I am doing. Every year, at the end of our academic year, we've got something called the Grand Showcase. And the Grand Showcase is for us our exam. Because one of the first things we did was take away the pressure on children to pass. Why? Children learn at different paces. And when you're 8 years old and you are told that you are stupid because John got it before you, something in you is being killed. We let the children learn at their own pace and only use assessment for the teachers to know where the children are so they can provide the necessary support and scaffolding that they need. Why is this important? Innovators must be able to think independently. In order for them to think independently, they must be willing to explore, to try. In order for them to explore, to try, they must have a diverse range of skills. And so our learning spans, every child is required to learn everything from the sciences to the arts because we believe it's important in developing them. But amongst all of those things, there's also a small ingredient that we have at Sadhguru's school, and that is co-intelligent existence with nature. Our school is located on the edges of a forest in Ndali, on the edges of Lake Ninambuga, the lake on your 20k knots. And this forest is one of our classrooms. In this forest, the children learn about medicinal plants, they learn about the importance of conservation, they learn about ecosystems, they apply the things they are learning in class to see how do we keep our world greener. Why? If our children do not grow up knowing these things, they are never going to be they're not going to solve the problems that we want them to solve. Why? We here will be gone in a very little while. They will be the ones who will inherit this. How are we preparing them? Is our education nurturing their creative spirits? Is it inspiring them? Is it encouraging them to love learning? Or is it discouraging them and thinking learning is simply about making money and not about making life work? Ladies and gentlemen, that was my time.